Howdy.
Hey.
Do you know what one of my favorite things to eat while we were in Paris was?
Let me guess. The indigenous shawarma?
Why, yes. Aside from macarons and croissants, my favorite thing that I tasted there was shawarma. And it's not that we don't have places that sell shawarma here. I'm sure there are. I just haven't really ventured out too much. But I managed to recreate some of it at home. So that's what we're going to do today. Chicken shawarma. I am just going to create my marinade for the chicken. And you'll want to juice 2 lemons, which should give you about a 1/4 cup of juice. And I'm just going to pour everything into this bag. And then I'm going to crush 2 cloves of garlic. I'm just using what I have. So 3 cloves of garlic, a couple mini ones. How about we say 4 cloves of garlic?
It's the flows whatever standard of measurement.
You can add more if you like. You can add less if you like.
I'm not criticizing you. I'm just
saying,
observation.
I'm just saying that, it's not that precise. It's not going to make a huge difference. I'm just going to use my garlic press. 2 teaspoons of paprika. 2 teaspoons of cumin. I don't even know if I have 2 teaspoons in here. 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric. Pinch of cinnamon. And depending on how spicy you'd like it, you can add as little or as much of the crushed chili flakes if you like. I'm just using a pinch. A teaspoon of salt. And ground pepper. And again, as little or as much as you want. I'm going to aim for about, 1/2 teaspoon. And 1/2 cup of olive oil. Mix it up. So the marinade is made, and I'm just going to add my chicken. I have about 3 to 4 pounds of chicken here. It's probably more than we need, but this marinade smells really good.
You're just saying that.
And I found a new use for takeout chopsticks, dealing with raw meat.
And they're compostable.
Perfect. I like marinating in bags because then I make sure that everything is marinated. I find sometimes when I just do it in a mixing bowl, not everything gets touched. So this way I can mush everything around, make sure everything gets marinated. So we're just going to put that in the fridge for a couple of hours. We've had our chicken marinating for a couple of hours in the fridge. I would marinate it for at least an hour. So I'm just cutting up an onion, and I'm just going to quarter it. And I'm just going to toss that into the pressure cooker. And you can do this recipe in the oven, but it's really hot today, so I'm going to do it in the pressure cooker. So I'm just going to dump this into the pressure cooker. If you're doing it in the stove, what I would do is toss the onions in here, mix it around a little bit, then spread them out onto a sheet pan. And roast it in the oven at 375 for about, I want to say 40 minutes or so. So all the chicken is in there. I think there is enough liquid in there, so I'm not going to add any more. And the chicken will also produce its own liquid. I'm going to put this the lid on. Sorry, everything's backwards.
Yeah, huh?
And we're gonna make sure that the sealing knob is on sealing. And I'm just going to manually cook it for 8 minutes.
Wow, you just such control with the controls.
Whatever. Okay, moving on, we're gonna make hummus and tahini to go with the chicken. All right, this is a very different hummus recipe than what I used to make in the past. You're gonna use 1 can of chickpeas with the liquid. You're gonna pour it into a pot, all of it. It's just a small can of chickpeas. Along with, I have 3 cloves of garlic. You can add more if you want more. Want it more garlicky, and I'm going to heat it up. And we're going to let that come to a boil and let it simmer for about 5 minutes. And hopefully you can see a difference in the texture of the chickpeas. All right, I'm going to turn this down. We're just going to let that simmer again for about 5 minutes. And I would stir it occasionally. Okay, that was 5 minutes. Turning this off. And see how the liquid is creamier? So all of this is going into the food processor, and you can use a Vitamix or whatever blender. But I prefer the food processor because, first of all, because I don't want it that smooth. I want it smooth, but I still like little bits of chickpea in my hummus. Oh, I find like with the Vitamix that sometimes if you don't have enough liquid, it really has a hard time churning. So that's why I'm using the food processor. So I'm just gonna dump all this in. Chickpeas, garlic and all. I want 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And that's about half a lemon. And half a cup of tahini. Tahini is sesame paste, and it's different from the Chinese sesame paste or Asian sesame paste because the sesame in Asian cooking, or the sesame paste in Asian cooking is usually roasted, so the sesame tastes different. This one, the taste is more neutral. So in my usual style, I'm just going to estimate how much half a cup is. So I think that's about half a cup. About 3/4 teaspoon of salt. You can always add more salt later if it's not salty enough for you. Okay, working backwards. You sure?
Yeah, so sure.
And we're going to turn it on and pulse, or turn it on and blend until it's all blended up. And we're gonna drizzle 2 tablespoons of olive oil while it's turning. And that's it.
You don't have to yell.
Right, looks super creamy.
It does, actually.
And we're just going to spoon it into a bowl. And the longer you let it sit, the more flavorful it becomes. So you just want to drizzle a little bit of olive oil in there. And a pinch of paprika. That's it. You can eat it with fresh vegetables or with flatbread, pita. We're just having it with our chicken and rice. We're also going to make a white sauce that goes with the chicken shawarma, and it's tahini. They call it tahini, but it's more than just the paste. So I'm going to use about 1/4 cup of sesame paste, and we're going to add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of water. I'm going to start with 2 and see if the consistency is the right consistency before continuing on. I suppose I could use a whisk. I don't want to damage these bowls. That's better. I'm going to add a little bit more water. Maybe another tablespoon actually. You want to be able to drizzle it onto your chicken. So you don't want it to be a paste. You don't want it to be thick like hummus, but it should be able to drizzle nicely. I add 1 clove of garlic, and you can add more if you want it to be more garlicky. But raw garlic is more potent than cooked garlic. Just saying. So 1 is good enough here. We also have lots of garlic and everything else. And about 1.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. So I don't think I need this whole lemon, or whole half of a lemon, but just juice it all anyways. And then just a bit of salt. So 2 good pinches of salt, or maybe just 1 really good pinch for that. And that's it, and that's your white sauce. You see how it's not too thick, and it's not too runny. And I'll just pour this into a nicer bowl to serve in. All right, so the chicken is done. Because it's so hot today, we've decided we're just gonna eat it as is from the pot. However, if you're doing it in the oven, you'll get a little bit of browning, which adds some caramelization and extra flavor in your chicken. So at this point, normally I would just stick it under the broiler on a flat sheet. Is that what it's called? A sheet pan? A sheet pan, not a flat sheet. A flat sheet is what goes on a bed. A sheet pan is what you put in the oven.
Or you could pan fry it.
Or you can pan fry it on a frying pan on your stovetop, or you can throw it on the grill for a few minutes. So I'm just going to take out a small piece so that dude can do his taste test for you.
Wow, that's pretty microscopic.
Well, you know what? It broke when I was pulling it out.
That's pretty cheap of you to just give me that.
It doesn't look very attractive. That's why you brown.
Yeah.
That's why you need to brown it. And maybe we should.
But
just for time's sake and to not expend any more energy on this hot day, okay, I'm going to drizzle some of this tahini on top. Add a little bit of chopped parsley. And you can have it with a little bit of hummus.
all right, it's time for the taste. I do believe that the browning of the chicken, whether it be under the broiler or on the grill or in a frying pan, it would lend itself to more of the visual appeal. But
Well,
here's a
also
taste.
the flavor, I think, because when you go get shawarma, they're cutting slices of chicken off that spit that
Yeah.
turns around and around.
Right, so it's got to have different taste. So, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a taste of this straight out of the pressure cooker. It's good. I love the combination of flavors. So, I mean, I love the Mediterranean, Middle Eastern flavors. The hummus is true, folks. It's creamier cooked on a stovetop.
You're so full of it.
Well, I know it's true. But the chicken is tender, flavors infused nicely, and with the sides of the tahini and the hummus, always a winner.
You're such a clown. All right, I don't know if you've noticed, but we have some new branding for the channel. I just want to thank all of you for your continued encouragement and support. So until next time, thanks for watching.
If you're wondering what she's looking at, she just knocked over a pot that was on this burner onto the floor.